Good morning, masters. First chapter. Let me continue from here. This golden entity said, remember as a child when you were on the altar and we told you that wasn't for you? You are going to work with the idea of people finding their own spirituality inside. You will establish a way to teach people about themselves. How? I asked. The golden entity said, you will teach people to heal themselves and to work with their own energy systems. I said, yeah, well, how am I supposed to support myself? My whole life has been directed toward becoming an English professor. The entity said, these thoughts should not even concern you. My last words to you are these. You will help many spirits enter this world as you have an affinity to work with children. You will help other people become parents, but in this lifetime, you will not have children. You will work with many children instead of having them yourself. Then I felt something grab me by the arms and swirl me around. It seemed as though a circular dance was taking place. I was being pulled around, and everything surrounding me turned golden. Then it all just suddenly ended, and the golden figure was gone. I found myself sitting on the floor of my room, although I had no memory of sitting down at all. I thought to myself, Keys, what the hell was all that? At that moment, the phone rang. It was a graduate English secretary calling to tell me that one of the professors on my panel had just been taken to the hospital and wouldn't be available for my exam in 3 weeks. My exam would have to be postponed until sometime the following year. I remember thinking to myself, well, so far these guys are one for one. It still doesn't answer how I'm going to make a living. Then the phone rang again. It was a student named Sandy who had been in one of my English classes. She said, I don't know why I'm calling you, but I was raped 2 days ago and I think you could help me heal. I wasn't sure what I could do to help Sandy, but I kept hearing a voice that told me I could help her heal. I invited her over that afternoon. When she arrived at my apartment, I looked at her aura. It was filled with images of a vandalized house with graffiti covering the walls. Sandy's image stood outside the house, experiencing bouts of anger and tears. The image kept repeating, he is not going to get away with this. As I worked to rebalance her chakras, I noticed that the image of a man's face kept appearing in her aura. When I described it to her, she said, that's him. I got a good look at his face. Can you see where he is? The moment she asked this question, I clairvoyantly saw the image of a rundown diner on a busy street corner. Through a window, I could see the same man drinking coffee. Sandy asked if I could tell where this diner was. As I described the diner and the surrounding businesses, she said, I know exactly where that is. I eat there 2 or 3 times a week. Sandy thanked me and abruptly got up and left. The next day, she called me. They caught him. She said triumphantly, when you described the diner to me, I remembered seeing him there sometimes when I was having breakfast. I called the police and told them that what I remembered. We put a sketch together and they showed it to the people at the diner, who said he had been there almost all morning but had just left. When he came back later that day, the owner called the police and they arrested him. Thank you so much for your help. I heard from Sandy months later that he had pled guilty to the crime. This experience with Sandy started my clairvoyant work with people. I was inspired not by the fact that I had clairvoyantly seen where this man was, but by the fact that my clairvoyance had helped Sandy access the part of herself that knew the answer to her question. It helped her find the closure she needed to begin healing after the rape. After that, people just began to call me. Somehow, even people I met only in passing would get my phone number and call. Now I get referrals from professionals like psychologists, acupuncturists, lawyers, and doctors who view my work as complementary to their own. I often found that a person's specific needs would lead me to open new dimensions in my clairvoyant abilities. It was someone's need that led me to discover my ability to communicate with spirits that were in between physical bodies. A woman came to me desperate to talk to her husband, who had just been killed in a motorcycle accident. At first, I told her I didn't know if I would be able to help her, but she was convinced that I would be able to contact her deceased husband. Francie came to my apartment in tears. I had never consciously tried to contact a spirit, even though the golden spirit in my apartment had communicated very directly with me. However, I felt intuitively that I would be able to communicate with Francie's husband, Jack. With Francie sitting in front of me, I asked her to say her husband's name out loud. Between us appeared an energetic form that was in bad shape, chaotic, ragged, and in pieces. For moments at a time, it would come together as the image of a man wearing jeans, a flannel shirt, and boots. As I tried to communicate with the spirit, who I assumed was Jack, I felt as if someone had grabbed my throat and I couldn't talk. Suddenly, I felt dizzy, like I was losing blood, and I realized that I was experiencing what Jack had gone through as he was dying. The spirit had me an energy cord to my second chakra. The second chakra is the place where we take in others' feelings. It is a chakra that we use when we empathize with someone's situation. I removed the cord, and the pain in my throat was gone, and I felt like myself again. I asked Jack telepathically if he had anything to say to Francie. Tell her I'm sorry about the fight and I love her. Tell her it's not her fault. This was all that Jack could seem to say. I could tell that the spirit was still adjusting to its own death only hours earlier and it needed some time to coalesce. When I told Francie what Jack had communicated, a fresh round of sobs came from her. Please tell him I'm sorry too and that I love him. After a while, Francie calmed down and said, I hadn't told anyone we had a fight before Jack got on his motorcycle. I knew you would be able to help. Thank you. I just wanted to tell him I was sorry. I was gratified that I could help Francie during this awful moment in her life. After this experience, I discovered that I could easily communicate with beings who didn't have a body. This includes those who have passed on and those who are waiting to be born. I found the world of those waiting to be born, or spirit babies, as I call them, to be an especially fascinating realm to work with. Over the years, many couples have come to me with questions about conception, past life connections, miscarriage, and anything related to welcoming a new baby into their lives. Thus began my work with the spirit baby realm. All of my clairvoyant work is based on looking at or reading a person's energy system. What is an energy system? Each of us is surrounded by an energy that represents our own unique spirit and personality. This energy not only represents us to others, it also gathers sensitive information on the emotional and mental state of those around us. The energy field works just below the conscious mind, but it greatly influences the decisions we make and how we choose to interact with others. For example, have you ever noticed that when you go to the movies, you are more comfortable sitting next to some strangers as opposed to others? What about the case of a mother who can be at the opposite end of the house from her child but instantly just know when the child is getting into something they shouldn't be? To break it down even further, this energy system is made up of chakras. Understanding the chakra system is how it works is an important part of understanding what I see as a clairvoyant. What are chakras? Chakras are the body's major energy centers. There are 7 major chakras in the body, all located along the spine. The first chakra is located at the base of the spine at the tip of the tailbone. The second is approximately 2 inches below the navel. The third is located in the middle of the solar plexus, the fourth in the center of the chest, the fifth at the throat, the sixth in the center of the forehead, and the seventh at the top of the head. The chakra system is an interface. The chakra system provides an interface between the tangible, physical world we call reality and unseen realms of energy. It is the part of us that becomes active when we meditate, the part that allows us to perceive energy, to become aware of spirit guides, to develop psychic or clairvoyant abilities. The chakra system also links body, mind, and spirit and connects us to the energy we commonly call the soul, our infinite energy of potential. The soul is the part of us that never dies or forgets our interconnectedness with every part of the universe. Chakras give us a way to reach from the physical world into the soul's realm. Chakras can be compared to the foundations of a house. A solid foundation is essential in supporting the house of our dreams. In the same way, our chakras can support the lives we long for, lives of genuine fulfillment and joy. They enable us to tap into many different energy sources and to develop the abilities we need to make our hopes and aspirations real. Chakras have specific energies and functions. Each chakra has its own unique functions and oversees specific parts of our lives. As a result, each chakra resonates with a particular kind of energy and provides unique information to our physical form for integration into our consciousness. Such integration guides our actions. The second chakra, for example, deals with emotions and is highly sensitive to emotional energy. While most of us can recognize obvious emotions like the sadness of someone crying, the second chakra goes beyond the obvious. For instance, when a mother is at one end of the house and her son at the other, it is the second chakra that intuits when the child is doing something his mother wouldn't permit. Often, when I look at a person's chakras, I see a picture or image of how each chakra's energies are being used at that moment. For instance, in the second chakra, I might see an image of someone rolled up in a little ball as if to say, "Leave me alone." This indicates to me that this person is dealing with other people's emotions a lot and is feeling overwhelmed. In fact, chakra energy is what many of us see when we look at another's aura. Auras are a combination of the physical body's electrical field, the energy from all its chakras, and the colors resulting from the mix. Auras also hold all the interactions we have had with the world around us. The basic function of each chakra is to receive energy vibrations and to translate these into ideas, images, or feelings related to the self. In addition, chakras generate energy. Each chakra creates an energy that supports and nourishes the entire chakra system and provides vital, animating energy for the whole physical body. In other words, the chakra system draws in energy from outside itself and converts this into forms of energy useful to the mind and beneficial to the body. The chakra system is nourished by nature. Have you ever wondered why a walk on an unspoiled ocean beach seems to melt away all worries? Why does experiencing nature lift our spirits, clear our minds, and relax our bodies? What happens on an energy level to cause this transformation? The answer is that our chakra systems are greatly affected by our surroundings. They allow us to interact with nature's vibrations to experience nature's nourishing energies. Unless we live in an unpopulated rural area, we are constantly surrounded by electrical fields which are generated by the electrical currents running through the buildings we enter. In addition, we are exposed to electricity flowing through overhead cables, wires, and towers, plus pulsing waves emanating from computers, televisions, and radios. Our chakra systems interact with these man made electrical energy pulses, most of which carry human discourse. On a subtle energy level, all these vibrations and waves surround and bombard our chakra systems. In nature, there are no wires, and fewer bits of information fly through the air. This freedom from electromagnetic fields and the din of human activity is a boon for the chakra system. Our chakras are able to absorb from natural surroundings the basic vital energies that enhance well being. Beneficial elemental vibrations of air, water, fire, earth, and light are far more available and accessible to us in nature, where artificial electrical fields are absent. Vibrations from land occupied primarily by animals rather than humans are very settling and centering to our chakra system. As a result, when we speak of drawing in the vitality of a place, of absorbing the spirit of the forest, or the lulling effect of ocean waves, we are speaking of chakra experiences. Because our chakra system enables us to assimilate nature's elemental qualities, natural surroundings can act like a healing balm for our body, mind, and spirit. How is this chakra system structured? As a clairvoyant, I have worked with and read the chakra systems of thousands of individuals. All have certain characteristics in common. For example, each chakra consists of four cone shaped spirals. The narrow ends of the spirals attach to the spine, while the larger ends face away from the body in four directions: front, back, left, and right. In other words, each chakra consists of four dynamic spirals emanating from spine. Each chakra also connects to a system of three channels running up and down the spine. The central channel runs through the middle of the spine. In this channel, we find the universal spark of vital energy called Kundalini. Kundalini energy embodies the elemental forces of creation and destruction, which constantly transform energy and matter. It is helpful to think of Kundalini energy as the force inside us that inspires creation. This energy starts at the base of the spine, where the first chakra is located, and runs up the center of the spine. Two additional energy pathways are located on either side of the Kundalini channel. These feed into the chakra system, the raw universal energies of expansion and contraction. The universe has a basic pulse, expanding and contracting again and again. These two channels access this basic pulse and transmit it to the chakras, which then feed it into our physical body. Thus, the two energy channels running on either side of the spine provide a vital link between our physical bodies and the universal pulse that sustains all life. Put simply, these channels supply nourishment for our chakras in the same way that food provides fuel for our physical body. Functions of the chakras. Each chakra receives, generates, and projects energy. Whether or not we are aware of it, we constantly experience our chakras' ability to project energy. For example, have you ever noticed that sometimes when you are in a lousy mood and don't want to talk to anyone, everyone asks you questions and wants to chit chat? Why does this happen? Especially when you think you are projecting the message, leave me alone. It happens because even though you are unaware of it, you are probably projecting an energy that says, come talk to me. Without your knowledge, your second chakra is putting out an image of you as an open, friendly person. While such an image pattern may seem to work against you when you crave solitude, you store it in your second chakra because ordinarily you find it useful. In other words, our chakras can project particular pictures, vibrations, or energy forms without our conscious awareness. This is what people mean when they say someone is sending out mixed messages. It is entirely possible for us to unconsciously send out contradictory messages through our chakras, body language, or words. Most of us don't consciously see the images we project from our chakras. Nonetheless, others react to them. For example, some people unconsciously project an air of authority simply as an outgrowth of their roles on the job. If you are a supervisor, an entrepreneur, running your own business, or the CEO of a company, you are constantly called upon to make decisions. Your job requires you to project an energy that says, I know what I'm doing. Over time, this projection becomes patterned into your chakra system. As a result, even when you're not at work, you may find that others not only defer to you but expect you to make all the decisions. This can be frustrating to say the least. The last thing someone who has been making decisions all day may want to do is make more decisions. But the chakra system's ability to project energy is one of our most potent forms of nonverbal communication, whether we are aware of it or not. Along with projecting energy, the chakra system is also able to receive energy vibrations and images. Maybe you have had the experience of taking a day off from work only to feel a sudden work related anxiety while relaxing at home. Some part of you feels that something is wrong. As you wonder what's happening, the phone rings. A frantic coworker is calling because your supervisor can't find a report you were supposed to have finished. Even before the phone rang, your supervisor's agitated vibrations had alerted you, and you had responded with instant anxiety. In other words, your chakra system had received your boss's panic vibrations, passed them along to your energy system, and translated them for your body. Reacting instantaneously to your supervisor's anxiety, your body then mimicked the typical response you would have had if you had been at work, facing your supervisor's displeasure. As this example shows, the chakra system has a tremendous capacity to receive all manner of information relevant to our survival and general well being. Finally, chakras can generate energy. We often think of people with high voltage chakra systems as peppy or uplifting. When our chakra systems generate a lot of energy, we are able to inspire others. We are able to instill confidence, unify groups, or motivate others. The chakra system can draw energy from the universe's unlimited abundance and pass it on to others. Those who receive such energy usually feel healed, inspired, or more connected to the divinity of the universe. In daily life, the chakra system subtly alerts us to activity in both the physical and energetic realms. Meditation can help us access such information. When we quiet the conscious mind during meditation, we become aware of energy signals from each chakra. We can then begin consciously to integrate this information into our daily lives. People who do psychic work can usually tune into at least one of their chakras with a great deal of clarity. Most clairvoyant readers, for example, have learned to quiet their minds enough to be able to translate accurate images or pictures from the sixth chakra into conscious thought. This allows them to read a person and explain what they see. Some individuals have cleared a pathway from the second chakra to the conscious mind and are able to sense very clearly what others are feeling. It's important to understand, however, that opening our conscious minds to chakra input can be akin to suddenly downloading a tremendous amount of data from 7 huge and potentially unlimited computers. These mainframes may start sending us so much information so fast that we become overwhelmed and confused. In other words, as we become aware of our chakras, we may feel bombarded by energy in the form of new images and information. As a result, disorientation is common for many beginning meditators. Also, no matter how extensive our experiences with meditation, it's common to feel some disorientation when we experience breakthroughs in consciousness. Nonetheless, meditating, listening, and learning how to work with our chakras is invaluable in supporting the process of inner change. Chakras and the body. Although the overall chakra system interacts with our physical form, individual chakras do not equate directly with particular organs or specific parts of the body. The energy of a chakra may influence a particular area of the body, providing stimulus or support. But this is not the same as corresponding with it directly. For example, the heart chakra and the physical heart are not one and the same. The chakra system does, however, profoundly influence the body. For example, a negative energy pattern in a chakra can manifest in many physical ways. Say that because of previous experiences, your second or navel chakra has been conditioned to take in large amounts of antagonism from others. As a result, emotions like anger, jealousy, hatred, or competition easily enter this chakra. Given this scenario, you might feel a constant sense of persecution, that everyone is against you, causing you to become overly defensive or, in contrast, overly anxious to please. Constantly feeling such negative emotions can then precipitate physical illness. For example, colitis, an inflammation of the intestines. The energy pattern exists in the second chakra, not in the colon itself. However, the negative energy flowing into the second chakra damages the intestines, which are interpenetrated by this chakra. Feeling a constant influx of antagonism from others can cause as much irritation in the intestines as drinking half a gallon of black coffee a day for weeks. Thus, the irritated colon. Opening the chakras. As already suggested, meditation can open our chakras. Energy stimulated by meditation can remove, at least temporarily, blockages or negative energies that impair our chakras' abilities to function fully. An open chakra system allows us to recognize life's potential. Because we rarely allow ourselves to see all of the opportunities life can hold, we limit our potential. By opening the chakras, we awaken our ability to expand our options in life and enable ourselves to choose from a wider range of possibilities than the few dictated by our past experiences. Past lives and chakras. The chakra system plays a special role in connecting us with our past lives. The chakras themselves contain a record of the emotions and experiences we have accumulated throughout each of our previous incarnations. Images and ideas stored in the chakra system represent defining moments from past lives. This knowledge accompanies us into each new incarnation. Babies enter life with their past programmed in their chakra systems. Past life information is incorporated into an infant's body when it forms in the mother's womb, resulting in the very distinct personality with which each baby is born. Okay, Masters, we'll stop here. Thank you.